Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Shadowwraith, and today I'm going to be going over 3 tournament placing lists. Now, I like reviewing other people's lists because it's always good to see what other people are doing, especially when they're quite, talented players. Now, these lists are coming off the Great British Hobby League Facebook page, and I'll leave a link in the description down below, and I want to make it very clear, none of these lists are mine. If I've got the name for the person whose list it is, I will say it. Otherwise, check it out in the description down below and check them out. Great British Hobbit League. If you're not part of it, I mean, they're pretty big. They're pretty big. Middle Earth strategy battle game. They cover everything, lists, stuff like that. They are absolutely phenomenal. So, anyway, now that part's out of the way, we are going to go for our third place list. So, and the reason I've added this in is because it's got the faction that I'm going to be playing soon. And I'm so glad it placed. I think it was 3rd or 4th. I want to say 4th. It was probably 4th. Or maybe 3rd. No, 4th. 4th. It was 4th. Anyway, straight into the list. We've got the Army of Dunland. So, unfortunately, I can't find the name for the person who wrote this list. But it'll be on there somewhere. So, we've got Warband 1. And we got Thriden Wolfsbane on a horse, and he is the leader because he has to be. Absolutely brilliant. He's got Mighty Blow, so he does D3 wounds instead of 1. He can do his War Cry, Dunlanding War Cry, so everyone within 12 inches of him gets +1 to wound in combat. It's really good. And the other thing the Legendary Legion does is all banners, ranges are increased to 6 inches, which is phenomenal. So, what's he got? He's got 2 Dunlanding warriors with shields, 2 Huskars, 1 Dunlanding warrior with a banner, fantastic, and a Surbane, which is the flock of birds, ravens, or Surbanes, which is fantastic. They help. They can't be shot at, or they can only be hit on 6s when you shoot at them with ranged weapons, and no one gets the benefit of Stalk Unseen within 12 inches of them, which is pretty handy. Especially if someone tries to cheese you by trying to protect, like Merry or Pippin or something with an Elven Cloak. You can go, nah, I can still see them. And then Warband 2, you've got Gorolf Ironskin. He is an absolute beast. He's he can call a free heroic defense when he's in combat with a hero. So that's handy, quite survivable, brilliant. He's got 2 Dunlanding warriors with shields, 2 Huskars, and 1 Dunlanding cavalry, or 1 horseman. Yep, solid. And we've got Warband 3. Frida Tall Spear, 2 Dunland warriors with shields, 1 Huskar, 1 Dunlanding warrior. And then Warband 4, we've got the Oathmaker and 6 Wild Men. So, what I can see straight away with this list, fantastic list, is he's spread out his cavalry, which is quite nice. It's always good to spread out your cavalry because you don't know how you're going to roll with the reinforcement kind of scenarios. You want cavalry there to deny other cavalry charges, things like that. And they're good at getting wherever they want to grab objectives. If you need to grab objectives, or if you're trying to secure a building that you've chosen to control, you can shoot the cavalry off in there. And if you roll a scenario, or if you're playing a scenario where you have to roll for reinforcements, see where you turn up, you don't know. So it's always good to spread out your cavalry. He's only got 1 banner in this, but that's fine. It's a 6-inch banner as well. So, perfect. Yeah, solid list. Absolutely solid. It must have been, because it placed 4th or 3rd, I want to say. I'm going to say 3rd, just because. If it was 4th, but I'm going to give you the credit of 3rd for this. And then, our next 2 lists won their events, their respective events. Now, we've got Army of Laketown here by J. Claire, and it's pretty simple. It's the Master, 6 guard with spear, Alfred the Counsellor, Braga, 3 guard, 8 guards with spears, Bard with armor and a horse, Sigrid and Tilda, and 11 guard with bow. Fantastic. So, having the Master in the list, he's got, well, it plays into the army bonus. So his money bag special rule has a range of 12 inches rather than 6, and basically what that does is he can spend a point of might at the start of the fight phase. So yeah, that's pretty good. And if he does, Braga, captain of the guard, any Lake Town guard captains or Lake Town guard within 6 inches will receive a bonus of +1 to their fight value and count as being in range of a banner until the end of the phase. 12-inch banner with 12-inch +1 to your fight value. Eat on that, Boromir, with a banner. With your 6-inch banner. We've got 12-inch here. Fantastic. So it's bringing up the Lake Town Guard to fight 4. Lake Town Guard captains to fight 5. Braga goes up to fight 5 as well. Absolutely brilliant. So, of course, the downside to having the Master as your leader is he's got Dragon Sickness. So at the start of the game, your opponent gets to pick one of their heroes to be a bearer of a large sum of gold. If the Master of Lake Town has ever in base contact with that bearer, at the end of the move phase, he must pass a courage test or be removed as if he was lost, if he's lost his last wound. He's courage 3 with 2 will, so you can fail. So quite dangerous. Your opponent's potentially got a one-shot kill on your leader. But hey-ho, he's got 12-inch banner with +1 fight value for everyone. He's only got 2 might, so he can only do it twice, but he's got Alfred the Counsellor with him. So Alfred can spend a point of will, of which he has 3 of, and he picks a friendly Lake Town hero within 6 inches of him and roll a d6. On a 2+, that hero gains 1 might. But on the roll of a 1, the hero loses 1 might and Alfred gains a might. And it can take the Lake Town hero above his normal might points. That's nuts. That's really good. He's got Braga in there, so Braga basically, as long as the Master of Lake Town has a will point remaining, and he declares a heroic action, or Braga declares a heroic action within 6 of the Master, roll a d6. On a 4+, it's free and no might points are spent. Downside to bringing him, though, is you can't... Braga, any Lake Town Guard captains or any Lake Town Guard within 3 inches of him may not take part in any heroic actions called by Bard the Bowman, Bane, Son of Bard, Sigrid, or Tilda. So, not really a major issue. But it could be awkward. He has got Bard, so basically, Bard hits a target with his great bow. He may take another shot at a target within 3 of it. It may even be the same target. And if that shot also hits, he may shoot again to a maximum of 3 shots. And he comes with a great bow, so you don't have to pay any points for that. He's paid for armor and a horse, which is good because he's only defense 4 without the armor. And, I mean, once per game, Bard the Bowman can fire a black arrow instead of shooting the wind lance normally if he's got the wind lance. So, yeah. And you have to choose it before you roll to hit. When shooting the black arrow, you may reroll failed hit rolls and any failed in the way tests. Furthermore, do not roll on the scatter table when firing the black arrow. A success to hit against a battlefield target automatically counts as a dead-on result. That's really good. That's really good. If you bring wind lance, which he didn't, which is fine. And then he's got stand fast range of 3 inches. Furthermore, Bane, Son of Bard, Percy, Hilda, and Lake Town Militaire captains and Lake Town Militaire within 6 inches of Bard receive a +1 bonus to their fight value and count as being in range of the banner, but that's fine. So he's got some shenanigans. He's pretty good. He's rocking up with 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate, and he's got strike on him. You can't really go wrong with that. And then he's got Sigrid and Tilda, and they're basically not very good. They're not fighters, but they do have the down here special rule. And basically, Bard the Bowman and Bane, Son of Bard, receive a bonus +1 to their fight value if they're within 6 inches of either of the pair. And if he's in range of both of them, he gets a +1 to his fight value and make all heroic combats each turn without spending might. So there's a lot of free might in this army. So it's bringing Bard up to fight 6, which is pretty handy. So it's a lot of +1 fight value from the Master. Alfred restoring the Master's might points, expending his own will for it to keep that ability going. We've got Bard receiving the +1 bonus to his fight value and potentially getting a free heroic combat each turn because of the pair that buff him up. Yeah, it's pretty. I like it. I like it a lot, and everyone's like fight 4 within 12 inches of the master, which is crazy. So yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I can see why it won. I do like Army of Lake Town. It's a cool army. It is a cool army. So, swiftly moving on, we have got another first place list, and this is a Goblin Town list. And the funny thing about this list by AJ Barr is it's got 90 models. 650 points, 90 models, 44 model break. That's crazy. So, what's he got in his list? Well, of course, he's got the one, the only, the big Goblin King. So, the Goblin King is a monster, firstly, so he can rend and do all that good stuff at fight 6. Awesome. He's got 3 might, 2 will, 1 fate. And he's got a 2-handed pick, so he can piercing strike, which is awesome. Just in case strength 5 isn't enough for you. He's got the strike and strength, in case you need more strength, and he has got challenge, but He is burly, so he's +1 to wound at strength 5, with 3 attacks, mind you. And he's got relentless advance. So basically what that does is when the Goblin King charges into combat, he can pass through friendly goblin models. Each goblin he moves suffers a strength 3 hit. Any goblin that he ends his move on is automatically slain. A model with this special rule cannot be compelled or commanded over friendly models, so you can't cheese your opponent by doing that. He's got blubbery mass, so every time the Goblin King is wounded, roll a d6. On a 3+, the wound is ignored. Magical powers and elven-made weapons ignore this ability, though. So he's tough as nails. 3 wounds, 1 fate, but he's got 3+, I'm going to ignore you. So if you don't have elven-made weapons or magic, you're going to have a tough time taking this guy down. Real tough time. Then he's got the funny rule, Goblin Projectile. In the shoot phase, if there's a friendly Goblin model in base contact with the Goblin King, and neither are engaged in combat, the Goblin King may make a shooting attack with range 12. This counts as a throwing weapon. Remove the Goblin, roll to hit, and any in the way tests for the shooting attack. The shot is resolved at a whopping strength 8 and will automatically knock prone any model that it hits. That's awesome. That is so cool. So, yeah. I mean, he's got 90 goblins he can chuck at them. So, he's alright with that. He's got Grinner and 18 goblins with him. And what Grinner does is, I mean, he's got Strike, which is good, and he's got a Scourge, so it's a throwing weapon at range 2, and it's strength 2, so you're not going to kill much with that. But he's got Swap with Me, which is an active ability, and basically you can pick another goblin model which is within 3 inches of him, and it doesn't say anything like within combat or anything like that. It doesn't count as moving. If there's no place to swap the model, you must choose another, or the heroic action is wasted. But you can swap the 2 models over within 3 inches. That's not. It doesn't say in combat. So correct me if I'm wrong, but does that mean if Grinner is charged at the start of any phase, or something like that, or in the combat phase, he can just duck out of it by swapping with another goblin? So if he's your goblin that you have to protect, you're going to be very hard pinning him down, especially when you've got 90 goblins he can swap with. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. If that's true. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And he's got 3 might as well, which is crazy. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. We have got the Goblin Scribe with 7 goblins. And what this Goblin Scribe is, what he does is basically, at the end of the move phase, he can take a courage test. If the test is passed, you may move D3 extra Goblin Warriors onto the board, +1 for each point he passes his test by, from an edge chosen by the controlling player. So you've got even more goblins coming on. Even more. That is crazy. So, I mean, other than that, the Goblin Scribe is useless, but that is still absolutely crazy. I want a Goblin Town army. I really do. If anyone's got a Goblin Town army they're willing to sell, let me know. Anyway, yeah, that's nuts. Absolutely nuts. I love it. So then we've got Gollum, and Gollum is Gollum. He can strangle people. Yeah, he's just extra dude. I can't really see what extra things he's bringing to the table, apart from he's never considered to be unarmed. Yeah. I mean, he gets the ring, So that could be good. So he's invisible. He could sit on an objective or anything like that. That's what I imagine. That's what I can imagine. He can sit on an objective or something like that. Or just get in the way and stuff. So, then we've got the Goblin Captain with 16 Goblin Warriors, another Goblin Captain with 16 Goblin Warriors, and that's it. And just so I go over the Goblin Warriors, okay, they have got something called the Chittering Horde ability, which means they can support another model with the same ability as if they were a spear. So 90 goblins that can all support each other. That's a hell of a lot of attacks. I mean, goblins aren't great. They're like, what, fight 2 or something? I will double check that. But still, yeah, fight 2. The goblin captains are fight 3 with 2 might each. So yeah, and they've got Chittering Horde as well. So everyone's supporting everyone. That's bonkers. And the captain is +1 strength as well and +1 defense. So they're only strength 3, defense 3, normal goblins. But so, that is nuts. And anyway, they're the 3 lists. Thank you ever so much for listening. And thank you for whoever ran these lists. And thank you, Great British Hobbit Lead, for putting these up for people like me to look at and review. Because, I mean, I can see where this list was going. I mean, you can chuck out so many attacks. You've got so many people supporting so many people. And what can you do against such an horde? Like, seriously, what can you do? Unless you all cause terror, because they're only courage 2, then you might keep some of them at bay. But yeah, you're going to have to kill a lot of models. A hell of a lot of models. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to fight this list, I'd probably go with Army of the Dead, just because they cause terror, they're super high defense, and they kill on courage. Not that that matters, but yeah, and they're -1 to courage against goblins. So that's the only counter I can really think of, unless you could shoot with a hell of a lot of things very quickly, which I don't see people doing. Or, oh my god, chariots. Yeah, okay, there we go. I'd love to see chariots going through that. Defense 3. Oh, horrible. Anyway, let me know what you thought of the lists, because I'm interested to know. And yeah, let me know what you thought of the video. Thank you ever so much for listening, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.